Ugh. You know, if converting to a Cyberman might mean I don't have to get any colds anymore, I might seriously consider it.
Cybermen wiped out the majority of the human race. Sorry, it's never a good time to break that news to you.
You don't need to do that.
See ya!
Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to my channel where I talk about all the geeky pop culture that I love. And I love Doctor Who, and I talk about it every week here on this channel. At the moment we're doing weekly reviews, only one more week left of series 12 of Doctor Who, and we're up to Ascension of the Cybermen, the first of the two-part finale. And I'm going to come straight out and say this is what a season finale should be for Doctor Who. It is epic, it is big, it is adrenaline filled, it is high stakes, and that is something that was severely lacking last time. You know, when last year, well, it wasn't even last year now, was it? But last season, last series, whatever you want to call it, the Battle of Ranskoor Av Kolos, you know, that title, the Battle of Ranskoor Av Kolos. Did we see a battle? Not really, not at all. But we saw one in this episode. We got a battle. We got headlong into a war that was going on, or the tail end of a war that was going on at least. And yeah, I think this is probably the most high stakes finale we've had in a long time. The stakes of this are universe wide. I mean, if not universe, then at least galaxy wide. And that's something we haven't seen for a long time, and it's nice and refreshing to get it again. We started this episode off with a little bit of a prologue from the lone Cyberman, which was quite nice, kind of gave us a bit of history about the cyber wars and the state of humanity at that point, and the state of the cyber race at that point. Gave us that grounding that I think informed the rest of the episode, and it was done in a nicely dramatic way, not too long, not too short, just about right to lead into the episode, give us some background information if you don't know it already, and off we go. Now what it doesn't do is throw us immediately into the action. We get that sort of expectation, which I think we probably all had, subverted slightly by going to this 1940s-esque type village situation where this couple have found a baby and are going to adopt it, and at that point I'm wondering what's going on, because this doesn't seem like it's set in the future. What's happening here? And we don't get that answer till a lot later on. We get several of these flashbacks to this period throughout the episode, kind of teasing a mystery, which was hooked me, definitely. And also I think these moments, these little flashbacks, acted as quite nice palate cleansers between the relentless action, because the action was really good, and I'm so glad that so much of the episode was action. But I think if it had been all that with nothing in between, there wouldn't have been much emotional element to the episode. And having to be able to take that emotional element in a sort of side direction and not have it interfere with the main action was a good way of injecting some of it, injecting some heart into the episode, while also not distracting too much from the main plot. Then we do get thrown into the action. The Doctor arrives with her companions. They've got gadgets. They have a plan. There's some nice references in there as well, of course. We got the gold reference to the fact that the Cybermen might be allergic to gold, so one of the devices sends up gold particles into the air, another one repels them, another one gives them emotion, turns off their inhibitors so that they go slightly crazy. These are all things that we have seen affect the Cybermen before, so the Doctor is using her past knowledge, getting there, has a plan, puts it into action. Then it all goes horribly wrong, which I loved. See, quite a lot in Doctor Who episodes, the episode itself is taken up effectively by the Doctor eventually coming up with the plan that will defeat the bad guys. That's what most of it is. You very rarely see the Doctor's plan fail, completely and utterly fail. And I think it's important that we see that every so often to ground the Doctor a bit, so that the Doctor isn't just this magical person that can come in, spend a little bit of time assessing the situation, and then once they've worked it out, wave their sonic screwdriver and everything is solved. It's really good that we see a plan. We get to that point, the Doctor comes in, assesses the situation, comes up with a plan, and the plan goes horribly wrong. I really like that in this episode. We get to see that, because that also leads to some lovely moments from the Doctor. We see the Doctor reach a point of despair in this episode, and the way she reacts to her companions in this episode is massively affected by that. Once the plan has gone haywire, her attitude to her companions has completely changed. It's, no, you will do as you are told, don't argue with me, go now, I will not hear anything else from you. And it just changes into a sort of commander commanding their troops, because now she knows that things have really gotten serious. So it led to some really nice stuff from Jodie. I really liked that we got to see those sort of moments of despair from her in this episode. In this scene, though, was also one of probably the only thing that I really didn't like about this episode, and that was the drones. It's such a silly little thing as well. It did not in any way spoil the episode for me, but the drones being cyberheads was a little bit cheesy, and it didn't really fit with the theme and the tone of the rest of the episode. I felt it just kind of distracted a bit, given that their ships look like generic sci-fi ships. Making their drones be cyberheads, unless they've got the purpose of literally, I could understand it if the purpose of the drones was to locate a human and attach to a human and start converting them. That would kind of make some sense. But as drones that fire lasers, why do they need to be cyberheads? That didn't really make much sense, and distracted me a little bit in the moment. But then again, at least they weren't ships shaped like cyberheads, so there's at least a little bit of silver lining to that, I suppose. Then they did something that they've been doing in a lot this series. They split the companions up, and this, I think, has always been a good choice. In every episode they've done it. Splitting the companions up works wonders, because as a larger TARDIS team, when they're all just together all the time, you end up getting a lot of them just sort of standing there, 2 or 3 of them just standing there, not really doing much while stuff happens around them. Splitting them up and giving them divergent storylines gives more opportunity for them to do stuff. And we definitely got that from Graham and Yaz in this episode. I felt we didn't get it as much from Ryan. He was kind of in the background again. There wasn't really anything in this episode, and that's something that's been recurring this season. I think Ryan this season feels a lot like Yaz felt last season. Kind of feels a little bit like there's not that much story for him to be there for. There's not much personal drama going on. There's not much. He's not doing anything particular, and other than in Orphan 55, he hasn't really had any meaty stuff to do at all, I think. At least that's how I kind of have perceived it so far. So we got that again, but we did get some nice stuff from Graham and Yaz, who kind of felt like they took on a bit of a leadership role within their band of survivor humans that they ended up with. And Graham got flirted with, which was amusing to see, and just seeing him kind of be a bit taken aback by that was quite nice as well. The pace of this episode was really good. They kept up the action, and then, like I said earlier, they split it between flipping back to this flashback type thing, which I'm assuming, although it was never expressly said, that it's something to do with the history of the lone Cyberman. Though I'm not sure if that was the same actor. I'm not sure exactly. We haven't got all the answers about what's going on there. But my theory so far is that is pre-cyber race Mondas, maybe. It kind of, if you are familiar with the Big Finish audio drama Spare Parts, the world that they were in was kind of Industrial Revolution era. It kind of felt very much like that before they became cyber race. So this would fit with that, I suppose. It would fit that it's Mondas, and none of the words used in like the police station and stuff seem to be words that like they're calling them guards, not policemen, and things like that, and just phrases they use seem to be not of Earth. So that might fit. I think it's probably Mondas. This is maybe the lone Cyberman before he became the lone Cyberman. The kid that grew up and somehow fell from a cliff and survived. Is that the lone Cyberman? What do you think? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And yeah, I liked it because it added a little bit of a palate cleanser between all the action. It added the emotional heart to the episode because we got to see this person sort of growing up and his wishes and his hopes and his desires, which you couldn't get from amongst all the action. You couldn't get that real personal drama in amongst all that action in the sort of future set scenes. So having it there allowed us to have that and the action and sort of have the best of both worlds. And then there was the cliffhanger. What a cliffhanger. We got Cyber Army waking up under the control of the lone Cyberman. We've got the portal that seemingly seems to go suddenly to Gallifrey, and the Master is back. Somehow got back from that other dimension he was in and has come back from Gallifrey. And what's going to happen next? Everything will change, apparently. Who knows? I am very excited to see what happens next week. I really liked this episode. It was a solid episode, well paced, well written, good characters. I haven't even talked about the supporting characters. They were really good too. There wasn't a bad supporting character amongst them, I don't think. Some of them got killed pretty quickly, but that happens. That they didn't feel like they were wasted because they didn't feel like they were set up in like they would all be important at the very start. So didn't mind that some of them got killed. Something about the kid that ends up with the Doctor and Ryan struck me as there's something about him that's gonna play into future stories. It'll either be something just in the next episode and he'll be gone, or I was thinking maybe they're setting him up as a potential future companion. He impressed the Doctor with his skills in jump starting the cyber ship and his general technical knowledge, and it would be really interesting for once to have a companion that's not from present day Earth. So I'm kind of hoping that they go down that route. Maybe if one of the companions or more leave at the end of, or die at the end of next episode, maybe he comes on board as a new companion for season 13, series 13. Maybe that's what happens. Could be. So he was good. I liked his sass. Is that the right word? He had a spark about him. I think he would make a good companion. I liked him. And the woman, I've forgotten all the characters' names now, but the woman that flirts with Graham, she was a really good character as well. Strong, engaging, loved watching her. Very good. All the supporting characters this week were really strong. So overall, fantastic episode. Really looking forward to next week. I can't wait to see what happens next. Let me know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. I will be back next week for more Doctor Who reviews for the season finale. And see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.